All rise. 38th District Court is now in session. I'm Carl Epper presiding.
Good afternoon. You be seated, please. Ready? Okay, calling the case of People versus Angela Murray. Alexi, detective, you want to raise your right hand, please? Both of you, please. Raise your right hand. You swear affirm to tell the truth, nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
Who's going to start first here?
I will, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Lieutenant Niels? Or
Your Honor,
Charles?
Detective Lieutenant Neil Childs with the East Point Police Department. Your Honor, on the warrant that's listed, the Roseville Police Department began an investigation that started at the Reed Community Center, a recycling center in their town on Groesbeck. At that location, a newborn child that was deceased was located there, or discovered there. As part of their investigation, it led them to an address in the city of East Point, 22098 Gascony, at which time they executed a search warrant at that address, and I will turn it over to Detective McKenzie from Roseville.
Okay, Detective McKenzie, what would you like to tell me?
Yes, Your Honor. We received several tips naming Miss Alexi as the suspect in this case. Upon interviewing Miss Alexi, she did confess to giving birth to the child on the 22nd of December, and the baby stayed alive for several days in the garage as she went into the house and then back out to the garage, checking on the baby every few hours. The baby finally passed away on the 24th of December at approximately 11 p.m. She then hid the baby in the garage for several weeks. On the 13th, the baby was put out in a recycle can by some unknown person, according to Miss Alexi, and put out to the curb for recycling.
And all this happened in the city of East Point, Detective?
That's correct, John.
Okay. Any probable cause, I ask that you sign the complaint. I'll sign both the complaint and the warrant. Miss Alexi, I need you to stand up to the microphone for us, please. Ma'am, your full name? Thank you, Miss Alexi. This is what's called an arraignment. You're being charged with a felony. Because you're charged with that felony, you have certain rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to a preliminary examination, and you have that right to have an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, the court will appoint one at public expense. Do you understand those rights, Miss Alexi?
Yes.
You're charged with a 2-count complaint, ma'am. It's alleged that you did, while in the perpetration or attempted perpetration of child abuse in the first degree, murder one baby doe. That's contrary to statute. Ma'am, that's a felony, punishable by life without parole. Your DNA is to be taken upon your arrest. Count 2, ma'am, it's alleged you did knowingly or intentionally cause serious physical harm to a child. That's contrary to statute. Ma'am, that's also a felony, punishable by life in prison or any term of years. Do you understand those charges, ma'am?
Yes.
I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. It's my understanding you're asking for court-appointed counsel. Is that correct?
Yes.
We're going to process that request. We're going to set your case for what's called a probable cause conference, and that's going to be scheduled for 1 week from today, which is going to be on February 4th at 8 a.m. And, ma'am, your exam is going to be scheduled for 2 weeks after that, ma'am, which will be on February 18th at 8 a.m. Detective, what would you like to tell me regarding bond in this matter?
Your Honor, as far as her criminal history goes, she does not have any criminal history. The house that she was living at, she lived there 2 weeks and lived at another location for, 2 months. She lived at another location for about a 2-month period. In other words, she kind of goes house to house, and that's kind of the lifestyle that she has. I do believe that she's a flight risk if she's released, given the nature of the crime and the likelihood of some serious prison time. I think an extremely high bond should go into effect.
Thank you very much. Miss Alexi, what would you like to tell me regarding bond? What's your current address, ma'am?
Well, technically my current address is nowhere at the moment.
So you're homeless? Are you employed, ma'am?
No,
When was the last time you had a job?
I've never had a job.
So how do you pay your bills, ma'am?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I'm not really paying my bills.
Are you currently on probation or parole?
Nope.
Anything else, ma'am, that you want to tell me regarding bond?
No.
Okay, I've heard your statements. I've heard those of the detective. I'm going to set your bond at $1 million. Cash or surety only. GPS tether required prior to release. Not to leave the home unless for purposes of court only. Any questions you have, Miss Alexi?
No.
Okay, we'll see you back here 1 week from today on February 4th. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
get you that paperwork in a second, okay? Thank you. Mr. Rose?
Short, sweet.